So I'm here at the junkyard and I found a Civic hybrid. This one's a 2004, and I pulled out the electronic steering. And no, you don't need the EPS electronic steering. You can use the Civic. They sit here for months. Nobody knows about them. EP3s get stripped immediately. Civic hybrids, no. And these things are pretty easy to get out. I think it took me like not even 30 minutes, or about 30 minutes, because I don't have all my tools here. I didn't even know where the module's at to control the EPS, but I found it behind there. I believe that's it right there. And just follow the wires. Passenger side. I followed this all the way into the fuse box in here from the EPS all the way inside. So I got the whole harness. Sorry about that last video, I was having to sneeze. But yeah, I got the whole harness here, pretty much one from the fuse box. I got this from the inside of the cab. Pulling this through the firewall, let me tell you, that was zero fun. Never want to do that again. I had to take out the whole blower box. So taking out the actual, electronic EPS is really easy, but no, taking the wire out, you actually gotta take off the evaporator core to get it out. Otherwise you gotta cut the wires. So if you're gonna do the swap, buy a harness. It's just, unless you're at the junkyard, because it takes a long time. I'm back home and I'll let you in on, because I haven't actually done this before, but I've watched a couple videos on it. These brackets right here are like 200. I don't know if they're 200 each or 200 from the set from the dealer. Keep these when you take it out. Do not leave them. So that was another thing that from watching the videos I knew about. And this other thing, I was gonna take this cover off because I paid 123 for this, which is a good deal. That's for everything. This was a stocking stuffer, and when I call stocking stuffers, I mean bolts or like loose wire or stuff they're gonna throw away. It's not. I mean, you can call it stealing, but I just call it stocking stuffer because they don't care. A lot of times I ask them, I say, "Hey, can I just have this?" And they're like, "Sure." So, yeah, this is some long wire right here. Instead of having to go to AutoZone and run, because I know I have to run 3 wires to the ECU, it's better that you get what you can get there, because all the little stuff, even on my projects, adds up sometimes as much as the big stuff. So this right here, I'm probably going to cut a hole in the firewall. This came with the ground, so this can be grounded. This wire, actually, you don't need a fuse. I was looking at it. This goes to the fuse box itself. So this plugs into the fuse box. I traced it. This was just a wire that came on it. I could always use some extra wires, but yeah, so these two plug together. This goes to the fuse box. That means I don't have to run a fuse. I can just tap into that wire there. And then here's the piece that plugs in over here. Yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. And yeah, these are going to be my 3 wires that I'm going to use for this right here. Yeah, don't think just because I'm all-wheel drive now that the project's over, because it's not. Yeah, and instead of going through the steering column on the Civic, you go through the passenger side. So I'm probably just going to I'll see if I can cut a hole and shove this grommet through there. It would be a lot cooler. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you need an EPS for your car. Oh, another thing, you might think the reason why I went with electronic power steering, and the reason is not what you think. The reason I personally did it is because I couldn't stand the 2002-2004 RSX steering ratio. The turning ratio is horrible. Probably one of the worst cars I've ever had, the turning ratio. So the EP3, this is actually turns sharper than the EP3. So this is why I got it, for the turning radius alone. I didn't get it just for the power steering, like that's a second plus, but I got it for the turning radius. So if you have a 2002-2004 RSX, change it out. This turns sharper than the EP3, and these things get no love. They sit at the wrecking yard, nobody notices them. And it's off a 2004 Civic. I can put a link in the description on I think it's like, you can look at the VIN number to tell if it's a hybrid at the wrecking yard. It's like JHMES or something like that. I'll put it in the description. But yeah, I'll get working on this tomorrow. Right, so I made this in Notepad right here so you can see the difference. See the RSX? The steering ratio is 15:1, and that's what I have in my original. Look at the EPS on the Civic Si. It is worse. So the higher the number, the less turning radius you have. So if you were to put the EP3 or the Civic Si EPS in there, you're gonna have a worse steering ratio than any of these cars up here. Any of them. Why would you want to do that to yourself? So anybody that swaps over and puts this in their car, nope, don't do that. Sometimes you just have to think outside the box. But yeah, this is straight garbage right here because I can't stand this ratio in my RSX. See, and when they came out with the 05, 06 RSX, they came out with just a slightly quicker response. I guess it's okay. But then when you look here, so this is like super ultra low emissions vehicle, and that's usually like California or, you know, some liberal state. But it still has a pretty good ratio right here. This is what you want right here. The one I got for the Civic, that's for some reason people overlook, and I don't know why. This right here has the greatest steering ratio of all the cars, all of them, and that's why I went with it. But yeah, thanks for watching my videos.